A while back, I did a tournament of power between a few of my what-ifs, and I said I'd probably do another, and now's the time for that. This took a lot of planning and time to get together, so apologies for the wait, but here it is, as a thanks for getting me to 300,000 subscribers. A lot of you gave some pretty good suggestions as to what to do for this video, things that I didn't even consider for the last one. That first one was very fun, but there was a couple things I could have done differently. This video obviously is much longer, as you can see, and I've included other stuff such as a roster that helps track the teams. And this time around, I'm mostly going to be focusing on the main character of each team, as well as the ones who are radically different from normal. So for teams that have Kriller and Tien, for example, I won't spend too much time focusing on them. But for teams like Team 1, since Cooler's there and he's the only one in the tournament, he's going to get a lot of focus. So like last time, there's 8 teams. 6 were selected at random, 1 was a suggested team, and then 1 was a team that I picked. I considered selecting them deliberately, but felt that it wouldn't be fair because I would be biased and would immediately know a winner. I want to be surprised too. And I could do more teams, but I don't want to have more than 8. That would be way too confusing. And for any teams that needed extra fighters, villains or dead fighters will be able to join them. For Team 1, we have What If Cooler Turned Good, a scenario where Cooler turns good, pretty self-explanatory. Team 2 is What If Bardock and Guinea survived, a scenario that also has a pretty straightforward title. Bardock and Guinea survived and ended up escaping to Yardrat. Bardock ends up training there, and even has a daughter too, eventually found by Goku after his battle with Frieza. There are some other pretty big changes with other characters too. Piccolo is a Supreme Kai in training, 16's alive, 17 and Ruda are actually a couple, and Bardock and his family have some unique spirit control powers, specifically him, Goku, and Ruda. And I'm not going to be taking the GT parts into account here, just the original story. Team 3 is What If Roshi Wished for Youth, another pretty straightforward title. Some pretty important things to note here is the fact that Roshi is actually the guardian of Earth, and that he's young and actually one of the most powerful mortals in existence, and Vegeta is actually a Kai. You can tell I'm glossing over some little details, but I mainly want to cover the big ones here. Just giving a brief synopsis before we go into the actual tournament. Team 4 is What If Frieza Was Reincarnated, where Frieza is reincarnated as a new fighter named Azir. And this team's going to be pretty unique because I never said they can't recruit people from other universes. Azir is actually pretty close with some of the Pride Troopers, so Toppo, Dispo, and even Jiren will be on the team too. Team 5 also involves Jiren, but in a different way. It's What If Jiren was from Universe 7, a story where Jiren is actually immortal from Universe 7, part of the Galactic Patrol, which also leads to Jocko being on the team because he's actually very strong here. Team 6 is What If Broly was sent to Namek. This team is actually going to be pretty similar to the normal team in canon. The only difference is Frieza replaced by a Broly that was raised on Namek. And this was completely unintentional, but Team 7 is also another scenario that's similar. What if Kakarot was sent to Namek? So this is the team that actually needed a few more people because there wasn't too many to pick from. So Lord Slug and Turles are actually going to be on the team here. 2 former villains and 2 dead villains actually too. Revived for the tournament to help out. And Team 8 is the one that I picked. Based on another video I made not too long ago, the Tournament of Power Dream Team. One where I make a pretty realistic team for a second Tournament of Power. And these characters are from the normal timeline. From after Superhero actually. Goku, Vegeta, Granola, Broly, Gohan, Piccolo, Gamma 1, Gotenks, and 17 and 18. With Gotenks being fused with the Medmo ring so his fusion doesn't run out. And now we can go on to the tournament itself. So immediately, there's going to be some pretty strange interactions here. A lot of them will be seeing other familiar people, or alternate versions of themselves. Like the Jiren from Team 5, the one from Universe 7, he ends up meeting the Jiren from Team 4, the normal Jiren. Confused as to why there's 2 separate Jirens, each from a different universe. And apparently, Universe 7 Jiren is the anomaly. He's the only Jiren that actually was born in that universe somehow. That's weird because apparently in every other universe, Jiren's from Universe 11. And just as surprising as the fact that Jocko's on the team and he's actually decently strong here? Well, whatever. Weirdness aside, the 2 Jirens strangely are pretty similar still. And that actually gets people to realize, wait, why is Jiren on Team 4 if he's from Universe 11? Already from this, things are getting pretty weird. There's a couple different Roshis here, and the normal Roshis are surprised to see the young one. You know, maybe wishing for youth in their timeline would be a great idea too. And then there's the meeting between Goku's family. There's 2 different Radishes here. There's a Kakarot here. And Bardock too. The 2 Radishes are bummed to find out that they're dead in most universes. And that gets Ruda to wonder where the other versions of herself are. And there are none. Well, at least Raditz was born in those timelines. She only got born in one. Another very strange thing is the fact that Frieza's reincarnated on one of the teams. He's a human and a good guy. But just as strange as that is the fact that Frieza apparently has a brother who's also good on one of the teams. And he's also got some weird machine powers too. Some big Getty stars fused with him or whatever. Azir and Cooler are especially interested in meeting each other. There's also a couple Gohans and Gotens. Like for example, you have future Gohan and Goten from Team 3 meeting up with teammates Gohan and Gotenks. So that fusion is part Goten? Weird. And also there's a future version of Gohan just like Trunks. That's pretty cool. Future Gohan's confused. Is there not a future Gohan in their timelines or something? Well, from what future Trunks told them, he's dead. Oh, not too surprising. Gamma 1's also pretty weirded out to find that there's no other versions of him anywhere as well. Gotenks kind of feels the same way too. Well, it kind of makes sense. It seems their timeline's a little bit farther along. And Gotenks is proud to be the only Gotenks. That just makes him all the more cooler. Gamma 1's at least glad to see a bunch of superheroes around, especially on Team 4, and Team 5 too. That Jiren guy, and that Jocko guy, they're so cool. It kinda reminds him of his brother. Namek Kakarot and Namek Broly recognize each other's outfits. Broly's glad to see Nail again too, and surprised to meet Lord Slug. So that's weird, it seems like they're both from timelines where each of them were sent to Namek. And in that timeline with Broly, Kakarot ended up on Earth. There's also Cooler and Azir who spend a lot of time talking. Azir didn't even know that Frieza had a brother, and Cooler didn't know that his brother was reincarnated. Azir's glad to see at least Cooler's a good guy. The two could probably get along. And Cooler's glad that his brother died and got reincarnated. The normal Frieza annoyed him so much. This guy seems much less annoying. And Azir takes that as a compliment, even though it doesn't really sound like one. Also, there's a weird anomaly because the Android 17 from Team 2 is actually married to a different person. And some timelines even have the Android 16 still alive. But Teammate's probably the most dumbfounded of them all, because Teammate is the main timeline. They see people like Raditz, Android 16, Nappa. All these people are here that they've seen before who should be dead. And then there's also other people that they've never heard of before. Cooler, Frieza's brother, Azir, and a reincarnation of Frieza, Ruda and Turles, two other Saiyans, one of whom is actually Goku's sister, Lord Slug, some evil Namekian, Nail, who should be fused into Piccolo, and we end up with one final strange interaction, Bardock, from Team 2. Mainly his interaction with his teammate, the normal timeline. Goku actually remembers Bardock because remember, this timeline's actually up to date, and Granola's even surprised to see him too, since this Granola knows about him. Obviously Kakarot and Raditz from Team 7 recognize Bardock, but the other Gokus don't really know much about him. It's really just the main canon Goku here. And all the Gokus and the one Kakarot, they all meet up, trying to work out their timelines and figuring out what happened and where they each diverged. They also try to get that Turles guy involved too, but the Namek Kakarot, he kind of explains it. Turles isn't another Kakarot, he's just another Saiyan that looks like Kakarot. Some of the Gokus laugh. This isn't the first time that they've seen an evil Goku look-alike. Most of them don't know what this reference means, since they don't know a Goku Black. But that's enough time for interactions. Now we go to the tournament itself. So since a lot of the teams are pretty similar, and since some of the teams already were in a tournament of power and know that they can just revive people at the end, they're more focused on fun fights than winning. Some of the others are terrified though because they think that they're actually going to be erased. Let's start with Team 1, Cooler's team. One of his strategies is try to merge the ring with himself, turn it into basically a portable Big Getty Star. It might be tough, but he can gradually do it. He starts his process. He sees this as a key to victory. One of the strangest things that happens right away is a battle royale between the Gokus and the Bardock. At least for the Gokus that have Ultra Instinct. Shockingly enough, this leads to some of the Gokus being eliminated at first. All the Gokus try to join in, it seems awesome, fighting with other Gokus. Team 5 Goku stays out of it because he knows he's way outmatched, and Kakarot from Team 7 also stays out because he thinks the same thing. This leads to Goku from Team 1, Goku from Team 3, and Goku from Team 6 being eliminated. It's also weird because Goku from Team 3 was using God of Destruction powers but didn't have Ultra Ego for some reason. It's almost like he was written before that was a thing. Whatever though, he's also part of the eliminated. Goku from Team 2 stays in because he's working with Bardock, and Goku from Team 8 is the strongest Goku here, being able to even utilize true Ultra Instinct. So he stays in here. Team 8's Goku is actually one of the biggest threats here. Even though we have some pretty strong what-if timelines, the main timeline has a lot of advantages. You have Beast Gohan, you have Orange Piccolo, Vegeta has Ultra Ego, Goku has full access to Ultra Instinct. The team in general is just very strong, but with Team 8's Goku occupied, that means Ruda has an opportunity. Trying to eliminate some of the others from Team 8. She heard that apparently one of them is a fusion, with Gotenks proclaiming that he's a fusion of Goten and Trunks, and you'll finally get to utilize his full power, and he has no need to worry about the fusion running out. He goes Super Saiyan 3, starting to fight Ruda, and right away she's caught off guard, having to go into Super Saiyan Blue to fight. Gotenks is actually pretty powerful, not only because he's a fusion, but because he's from a timeline that's actually a little bit more progressed, meaning the Goten and Trunks from that timeline are older too, and more seasoned as fighters. But the main reason she wanted to check this out is because this was a fusion. She's able to land a hit on Gotenks, and try something that she thinks will work. She defuses Gotenks, using Force Spirit Fission, and Goten and Trunks stand there dumbfounded. Wait, their fusion wasn't supposed to run out, they have the Metamo Ring. How the hell does she do that? They try and fight her normally, but they don't stand a chance against her, meaning Goten and Trunks from Team 8 are eliminated. Strangely enough, there are some people teaming up. One of the team-ups is Granola from Team 1 and Granola from Team 8. It might be better this way. They end up facing off against some fighters from Team 7, Turles and Slug, and Slug's confident that he can win here, but he's immediately one-shotted by one of the Granolas. Turles, though, he's going to be a little bit tougher to defeat. He powers up into his evil Saiyan form, having grown stronger in hell, and he proclaims this as the power of an evil Saiyan. Well, if he insists that, the Granolas are going to have no trouble taking him on. They were hoping he'd be good like the other Saiyans they've met, but he's no different than the ones that killed the Cerealians. And with their combined might, Team 7's Turles is defeated. One of the most powerful team-ups here is from Team 4, where Azir, Gohan, Dispo, Topo, and even Jiren stick together, with Jiren actually being a team player. It's very shocking for some of the other universes to see Jiren do this, at least the ones who have actually fought him. The Jiren they saw was very to himself, and didn't get involved right away, but this one, he's big on teamwork, and actually a pretty powerful leader. This makes Team 4 incredibly fearsome. Not only are their fighters incredibly powerful, but they're actually working together very nicely, especially because these 5 has such great synergy. Their first target is actually Team 7, one that seems to have a lot of evildoers. Turles and Slug were really the only evildoers on the team, so they're already gone. But they aim to enact justice on Team 7. I mean, Team 7's not all bad, but they're up for the challenge anyways. They're hopelessly overpowered though, with everyone besides Kakarot and Raditz on Team 7 being eliminated. Even the humans too, who are obviously good guys, but they gotta protect their team still. Goku from Team 5 was one of the ones to actually stay in before, because he knew he couldn't stand up to the other Gokus. On a whim, he ends up teaming up with the Kakarot from Team 7. A very strange combo. They look the same and technically are the same person, but they have very different fighting styles. Both are pretty strong in their own right, but this leads to Goku from Team 5 and Kakarot from Team 7 getting eliminated, due to the sheer power of Team 4. And with that, we have our first full team eliminated. Team 7 is the first team to lose all its fighters and get completely eliminated. This puts a lot of eyes on Team 4, since they were the first one to eliminate a whole team. Almost single-handedly, eliminating 8 of the fighters from that team. One person particularly interested in this team is Jiren from Team 5, the Universe 7 Jiren, and he ends up facing the Jiren from Team 4. Jiren from Team 4 wonders how strong the other Jiren is. They talked a bit before the tournament, and they know their different backstories. But Jiren from Team 5 reassures him, he's powerful. He's the strongest galactic patrolman, and one of the strongest mortals in Universe 7. He starts to showcase his full power, and Jiren from Team 4 does the same, leading to an all-out super full power battle between the Jirens. The Granola duo eventually encounters Azir from Team 4. Apparently he's Frieza's reincarnation. They don't know how to feel about that, but they can tell he's a good guy, and Azir assures them he's nothing like Frieza, not just in terms of his personality, but in terms of his strength. And Granola from Team 8 is actually kind of fearful of this. He wonders if Azir has a power like Black Frieza, but instead, he just powers up into his golden form, which is still terrifyingly strong. But Azir's not going to face the two Granolas alone. Toppo and Dispo join him, helping Azir eliminate the two other Granolas, which means both Team 1 and Team 8 lose Granola. There are some smaller battles going on. For example, Raditz from Team 2 versus Raditz from Team 7. Two very different Raditzes, and Raditz from Team 2 is obviously going to win here, very easily in fact. Simply going into Super Saiyan Blue, eliminating the other version of himself. But he tells that other Raditz, even though he faced defeat here, he could still obtain this power himself. Use this as motivation. Gamma 1 from Team 8 faces 16, 17, and 18 from Team 2, surprisingly beating all 3 of them at once. He then does the same to the androids from Team 1, eliminating Team 1's 16, 17, and 18. All the while, 17 and 18 from Team 6 are fighting 17 and 18 from Team 8. And thankfully everyone's wearing numbers so they know which one's from which team. But once again, Gamma 1's able to proclaim that he's Dr. Hato's greatest creation, the ultimate android. 17 and 18 from his team aren't too sure how to feel about this, but they let him have his fun. He is fully artificial after all, so he's a different kind of android anyways. 17 and 18 from Team 6 are eliminated as well, with Team 8's Gamma 1, 17 and 18 all teaming up once more, facing off against some fighters from Team 4. But we've kinda overlooked Cooler. This whole time he's just been doing nothing. Well, not really. He's been fending off some of the weaker fighters, but he's been trying to assimilate himself with the entire ring, trying to merge with it. Team 2 eventually notices this. Raditz from Team 2 tries to attack Cooler, but Cooler's able to easily eliminate him. With Ruda and Barak noticing, he's merging himself with the ring. He's fusing with it somehow. And they try and use Force Spirit Fission to defuse it, but it doesn't work. It's purely mechanical. This doesn't work on that. And then they start to realize, this guy could be a pretty huge threat. This guy's Frieza's brother, and he doesn't seem that evil, but he's definitely going to be a very cunning fighter. They gotta figure out some way to stop this. He's amassing a bunch of power somehow. And Cooler watches the rest of his team. They've already lost some fighters, but he thinks it'll be fine. He'll win this for them. But one person surprisingly steps up to Cooler. It's Azir, still in his golden form. And Cooler comments, his power seems much more impressive than his idiot brother's power. And Azir is surprised at Cooler's strength too. And that makes him wonder, is there a Cooler somewhere in his universe that he just doesn't know about, maybe even reincarnated? And Cooler's surprised to see that he has a golden form. But Cooler lets his alternate dimension reincarnated brother know something special. He's got a nice transformation too, going into his platinum form. First showing off the lower level of it, and then powering up into the full powered version of it, proclaiming that this is true platinum Cooler. It's the first time in the tournament he uses his full strength. And once he does, it becomes pretty apparent to everyone that Cooler's actually one of the strongest here. He has a fun battle with Azir, but he's able to win pretty easily. And Team 4 is slowly losing. Toppo, Dispo, and Gohan are eliminated from Team 4. But they're not mad because they were eliminated by another superhero, Gamma 1. Glad to see him upholding justice. By now, Team 4 has lost all of its fighters except for Jiren. And shockingly enough, Team 4's Jiren is eliminated by Team 5's Jiren, meaning the entirety of Team 4 is eliminated, the second team to be completely knocked out of the ring. Meanwhile, there's another strong battle that just began. Goku from Team 8, the main Goku, versus young Roshi from Team 3, both of whom are using Ultra Instinct at its fullest potential. It should be a fun battle, a battle between master and student, both utilizing the same power. In their respective timelines, this might not be possible at this level, but here, they could have a lot of fun with it. Unfortunately for Team 3, they've already lost most of their fighters. It's really just Roshi remaining, so he has to win against this Goku from Team 8. But even if he doesn't win, it doesn't matter. That shows him that his student has grown so powerful in so many other universes. It's reassuring if anything, and it's not like he's the only Goku left. There's also Goku from Team 2, who's still left fighting with Bardock in Team 2, both also utilizing Ultra Instinct. Now that Cooler has caught their attention, Team 2 is trying to eliminate Cooler. But Cooler's not going to be tricked by Ultra Instinct. He's seen that before. This leads to an all-out battle between everyone from Team 2 and from Team 1, at least who's remaining. The fighters from Team 5 face the fighters from Team 6. Now Team 6 is actually pretty strong too, because they're very similar to the main timeline. Of course, some events did go differently, and Broly is a completely different person here, but this team is relatively similar to canon, just a little bit earlier on. Jiren from Team 5 is incredibly powerful, but Team 6 is very strong in its own right. This leads to a very close battle, especially since both teams actually have a good amount of fighters left, but Team 6 is able to win. Although, the only person left on Team 6 is Broly. Thankfully, Team 5's Jiren is already pretty worn out, and thus, Team 5 is eliminated. The battle between Team 3's Roshi and Team 8's Goku concludes, with Goku claiming victory over his master. Roshi's amazed at the way he's utilizing Ultra Instinct. It's so powerful with this Goku. He's proud to see a student like this, and he's happy, even though this means that Team 3 is eliminated, and Team 2's battle with Cooler continues. Although, Cooler is able to pull ahead, unaffected by Force Spirit Fission, and no matter how strong that team is, his team is still able to pull ahead, especially with Cooler's support. Team 2 is eliminated, which means only Team 1, Team 6, and Team 8 are remaining. Although Team 6 is instantly disadvantaged, it only has Broly left. Had they not got involved in tougher battles, they might be a little bit better off. Thankfully, even though he's on his own, Broly's very powerful and can hold himself pretty well. And the best part for him is that the Broly from Team 8 doesn't have control over his power. So before he could fully unleash it, Broly from Team 8 is eliminated. Broly from Team 6 continues fighting against Team 8's fighters, also eliminating Gamma 1, Android 17, and Android 18 from Team 8. But he's going to have an issue with the other fighters in the team, Goku, Vegeta, Gohan, and Piccolo. Gohan showcases his beast form, and Piccolo turns orange, easily eliminating Broly from Team 6. With Team 6 eliminated, that means there's only Team 8 and Team 1 left. In terms of the roster, here's the last few fighters. For Team 1, Cooler, Goku, Vegeta, Gohan, and Piccolo are still left. And as for Team 8, Goku, Vegeta, Gohan, and Piccolo are left. Cooler's actually been able to save a lot of his team, thanks to partially merging with the ring and being able to control it to grab them to make sure they don't fly out. But Cooler decides it's time to launch his final attack. Team 1 stares down Team 8, amazed to see the powers of them. Team 1's Gohan and Piccolo are especially amazed, seeing the powers that the Team 8 version of themselves are utilizing. But Cooler tells them not to worry. He begins merging all the pieces of the ring together, summoning them towards himself. Cooler stands on a floating rock in the middle of it all, with all the pieces of the ring merging together, creating a giant metal Cooler. It was a bit tougher to get this ring to merge with him, since the material's different, but it's also a very tough material, a tough ore-like metal. That means it was tougher to gain control of, but also, it's going to work better now that he has control of it. Cooler grabs all of his teammates, encapsulating them. They get kind of annoyed because they want to fight, and he tells them not to worry, he just wants to protect them. But he eventually lets them go because they don't want to be coddled by Cooler. He's still going to try to protect them though. Cooler's first target is Goku from Team 8. Ultra Instinct will be pretty troublesome, but he wonders if he could dodge an attack that comes from all sides. The ring around Goku begins collapsing, and then he's grabbed by all pieces of it, held tightly by the rocks. Vegeta from Team 8 is in Ultra Ego right now, and he tries to destroy pieces of the ring, and he's successfully able to do so, but Cooler's multitasking, attacking everyone from Team 8 at once. Not to mention, they have to fend off against the other fighters from Team 1 too. Team 8's Gohan and Piccolo are able to use a lot of their power at least. They eliminate Team 1's Gohan and Piccolo. Now it's a 3v4. Team 8's Vegeta continuously tries to destroy different wires that come towards him, and all the rocks that Cooler continues to launch around. But eventually he's caught, and he and Goku are held tightly. Cooler then ascends upwards, lifted by wires. Vegeta from Team 8 struggles to break free, and he watches on amazed. The power has been drained from Goku. Goku from Team 8 is eliminated, and next, Gohan and Piccolo from Team 8 are eliminated. Vegeta's on his last legs. He can feel himself losing power, but he continuously destroys all these pieces of Cooler. He's able to knock out Team 1's Vegeta, and surprisingly even Team 1's Goku. Now it's just down to two people, Team 8's Vegeta and Team 1's Cooler. Vegeta's breathing heavily, bloodied and beaten, but he proclaims to Cooler, no matter how much he's beaten, he'll just grow stronger. Ultra Ego allows him to do so, and Cooler's standing there, held up by the wires, but the wires release him, and he steps back into the ring normally. Vegeta assumes a battle stance, and surprisingly enough, Cooler powers down into his base form, and he slowly walks up to Vegeta. Vegeta gets ready to attack, but Cooler sticks out a hand, and Vegeta has no idea of how to react. Cooler just wants to congratulate him for surviving this long, being one of the last remaining fighters, just as expected from Vegeta in another universe. Vegeta tells him to not get so cocky, he hasn't won yet, but Cooler says he's not getting cocky. The ground below Cooler collapses as he disappears, and behind where he was standing, a giant metal Cooler head rises out of the ground, with its eyes glowing, charging a massive laser. The laser's launched at Vegeta, and he uses all of his power, trying to Hakai the attack, and he's able to briefly hold it back, but then the ring below him begins collapsing. Cooler's pulling more of it towards himself, and as Vegeta loses his footing, the laser overtakes his attack, knocking Vegeta out, leaving only one person left in the ring, Team 1's Cooler. Team 8 is eliminated, and the winner of this tournament is Team 1, with the MVP being Cooler. Not only is he the last one in the ring, but he is the ring, having full control of the arena. But of course, there's not going to be anything bad coming from this. No timelines are erased. And Super Shenron is still there to grant a wish, and Zeno's the one to make it. Since he didn't actually erase anyone and doesn't need to bring anyone back, he has a pretty interesting wish. The Zeno leading this tournament actually did this for a specific reason. He wanted to see which of these continuities was the strongest, which one was the most fun to observe, and apparently, that's Team 1. What if Cooler turned good? He wants to see more of that timeline, wanting to see if he could do anything different. He's interested in it, so he makes a wish. He wants that story to continue. As the winner, What If Cooler Turned Good gets the winner revamp. The series will be returning, and will be continuing, into an original story actually. Consider this fourth wall breaking wish as an announcement. And with that, the second What If Tournament of Power concludes. What'd you guys think about this story? I did want to include more in this video, but I felt it would drag on too long if I did so. It's already pretty long as is, way longer than my normal videos. But I still might do another one of these in the future. It just depends. Mainly depending on your response. Drop a like and comment below if you want to see more like this. Hopefully you enjoyed this one. And like I mentioned before, I want to thank all of you for getting me to 300,000 subscribers. It's another huge milestone, and I'm looking forward to wherever we'll go next. I wouldn't be here without you guys subscribed after all. Anyways, thank you all for watching, thanks for 300k, and I'll see you all in my next video.